All right, everyone, welcome back into another NFL preseason props and picks video where I'm going to be going over NFL DFS and then also props content as well in this video. I have all right, so we already are getting comments in. Chris is back again tonight. There we go. Joe's wondering, or basically stating that he has a lot of underpassing yard targets tonight for PrizePicks, I'm assuming. And let's just kind of start out with the prop space tonight. Because I think it's a good starting point for tonight. So we are starting to get some more and more prop bets and numbers as the day has progressed, which is nice. It got to like 1 p.m. Central Time, and I was like, we're not getting any prop bets. What is going on? I was getting super annoyed, but this brings up a good point that I want to call out for both preseason and also prop betting. I want to call that out, that we weren't getting the prop bets. And so that kind of tells us that this slate probably will be more difficult to predict as a whole. That's more specific for preseason NFL DFS, but that is something I want to call out. So yes, let's kind of just take a peek at the boards that we are getting today in general. And I'll start out with kind of the pick six cheat sheet. I think that's a little bit easier for people to kind of see it. And so 1 second here. Got to reformat. I thought I had it ready to go. There we go. So let's kind of look at this. And so we can already see, and this will tell us kind of the line movement that we had today. Again, pick six seems to be the good spot. I don't know if I kind of forget if I did a Sunday live stream or not. Anyways, on the Discord, I know I put in there getting big edges pick six wise. And the big prop line differences that we had, like the top 5 all hit. So that'd be the second time thus far this preseason in which no bets in terms of the ones you would have been targeting pick six wise missed, which is pretty good. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen today at all, but I do want to say that we had that opportunity again today. So pick six wise, obviously Joe Milton is an extremely interesting one today. Okay, so a little bit of prop line difference between PrizePicks and Underdog. PrizePicks 57.5, Underdog 61.5. These lines again have been fluctuating. Okay, but the point is you would want to be betting the under on something like pick six. And now I do want to call out something here as well. When we're going through those, well, I'll keep it pulled up here. So I want to talk about the quarterback play in general. So Drake May, we can see his line at 75.5. That should actually be a very good one for the over. We'll talk about that. And then are we getting any other quarterback ones here specifically? Not really. Okay. So I do want to talk about the quarterback play as well. So we did get some reports today. And I say that because we haven't really got that much reports just yet for the Patriots or for the Eagles. We did get one piece of news, and that's going to be kind of the quarterback allocation of playing time. And so let's go ahead and talk about that. So for New England, we do know Jacoby Brissett is going to play about a quarter today. Okay, so we do have that news, which is good. Happy to get that news. Now, I want to call this out. The reports are saying that he will get a quarter of play. That might not always be accurate. We could see the Patriots offense just go out and really dominate in the first drive, score a touchdown right away, and then they get pulled right away. Like a lot of the times, coaches just want to get a good look at their offense. You know, get them those good reps. If they're not good reps, all right, you are going to play the full quarter. So don't be surprised if they only play a quarter or if they play less than a quarter. But the starters for the Patriots, just given the news that we got from Brissett, I'm expecting the starters to then all play about a quarter. From there, we do know that Drake May is going to play about a quarter and a half. Reports are that he's going to finish out the second quarter. I'll play the second quarter, and then probably, and this is something we typically see in the preseason, he's probably going to play 2 drives into the third quarter, and that's going to be Joe Milton, and that's going to be Bailey Zappi to close it up. So again, kind of going back to these prop bets that we have here, Joel Milton at 57.5 is certainly interesting, I would say. Because, okay, last week we got kind of lucky on his over prop bet in all honesty, but it was also part of the analogy. So analysis, where it was Joe Milton can throw a deep ball. We know we're going to get at least one deep ball target out of him. And he connected on that one, which was awesome. For preseason purposes, the receiver that caught it was not really relevant. That was like his only target of the day. But I do think this is a pretty low number for Joe Milton. Regardless, I think we have a great milling opportunity here prop bet wise, guys. Okay, so I did want to call this out. And I kind of want to start with this one prop betting wise in general, because again, this is one that I do think that we should be kind of stacking with. Okay. And so Joe Milton over pass yards on PrizePicks. On pick 6, we would do the opposite. We're going to bet his under 72 or whatever it's at. Okay. So that's the route that we should be starting with. Let's just look at some other prop bets that we're getting. We'll continue on with PrizePicks here. And it's okay. The board that we have is okay, I would say. I find it interesting that Polk has went up. His started, I believe, at like 19.5. Again, if you want to chase all these lines here, really, with Baker, Polk, Wilson, the best route to even Britton Covey or John Ross, the best route is on pick 6 to bet the overs there, because that's where we're getting the big edge. Again, the line's going to be a little bit off on pick 6. But Baker is someone that I think makes a lot of sense tonight. So he is someone that didn't really get going in the first game. Probably should have had more production than what he had. A little bit of poor quarterback play on a couple of throws, but he was on the field the most, which was expected. So he played in 57% of the snaps. 55% of the snaps for the Patriots. And given the fact that he didn't really do much in that game, I kind of expect him to still play a decent amount. Look at someone like Jalen Polk, who reportedly has been the receiver number 1 in that offense in camp and just dominating camp. I shouldn't say dominating, but clearly kind of the outlier in a good way in the receiving group. I kind of expect him to get those starter reps and then just be done. Now, that's kind of my expectation. And so, again, better on pick 6. But I wouldn't mind those overs. Rush yards, let's see here. Terrell Jennings is someone I do think makes a lot of sense to get some work. He was someone that did look good last week. And I want to call out the Eagles running back situation. So they do have Kendall Milton there that did look good. He looked good last week. Okay. Kind of got a lot of his work in kind of the closing, trying to run out the clock type situations. But it was an even split pretty much, running back wise. And so looking at this, I'm a little bit worried because between Davis Price, Lou Nichols, and Will Shipley, these 3 right here, they all played 23% of the snaps, which isn't huge. But if that continues again, we would be pretty well off just betting on the outlier again here in Lou Nichols if they still continue to get those same reps. Now, I will say Lou Nichols, with it when he was with the Packers preseason wise, there wasn't that much with him. Didn't look all that good. Looked better last week for what that's worth. Davis Price definitely looked the best. Will Shipley, I don't think you can really grade him. He did what was there, but Terrell Jennings here, 19.5, that does seem pretty low for him. He is someone that did pop on film. Now they did just re-sign a running back, the Patriots. The Patriots were looking like they'd be pretty thin running back wise on tonight's slate. Because Stevenson, Gibson, you kind of expect them to get that first quarter work. And then it was seemingly going to be 3 running backs. But no, they signed Fenwick. I forget what his name, how do you say, but he was someone that they cut and then they have since re-signed. We're not too worried about him getting that much playing time, but he might get enough to the point where someone like Jennings maybe doesn't get that much work. But again, I do expect him to get work just because he looked good, and he's kind of a running back that you would run into the ground preseason wise. I think that just makes the logical sense there. And so let me jump into some questions. I know we are getting a decent amount, or just comments in general. All right. Yeah. So 2 quarters, 1.5 quarters. The important thing for Drake May in general tonight is that he, in terms of the Patriots, is the quarterback that we want to be targeting the most. I still expect, and we haven't gotten confirmation on this just yet, is that the Eagles quarterbacks are probably going to split the work. Underdog props have been talked. It's definitely interesting. So underdog-wise, and just this is where it kind of, I want to re-echo this. If you are doing prop bets for preseason NFL DFS, you really should be using pick 6 as like, I don't want to say starting point because their lines typically come out later, but that's, and maybe not even on tonight's slate, but that's the one where we typically are getting our biggest edges. Now we are seeing that there's a decent prop line difference for Joe Milton tonight between all the sites. Okay. So like, for example, tonight, pick 6 wise, we do want to be betting the under for Joe Milton on pick 6, and then probably the over on PrizePicks. Underdog, we're not touching that. Another one, Tanner Mackey. Let's just pull this up here. His underdog line, to me, seems low. If he is going to indeed split the reps like he did last time, Kenny Pickett played about 50% of the snaps. Tanner Mackey played about 50% of the snaps. It was a little bit different, but the point was they were going to split the work, and they did do that. And so it's kind of strange that we're getting that line difference. And so that's really how we should go about attacking. Now, obviously, we can go about making the best decisions possible, but we got a middle right here that we can run out. Less, more right there. I think the over is the one I like a little bit better here, but I just want to re-echo, like, pick 6 is kind of the priority because we are getting clear outliers, especially when we compare the two data sources, if that makes sense. So again, if you're betting on Underdog or PrizePicks, I'm not saying don't, but you should then also be betting on pick 6, just because that's where it's going to be the most worthwhile for you. Best bets, I kind of just said that. I think I'll recap that at the end of the video as well. No, Bailey Zappi should play tonight. He's going to be playing the cleanup role. Basically, what Joe Milton did. Yeah, what Joe Milton did last game, that is what Zappi's going to be doing tonight. And so I think we can kind of look at the playing time. Wish I had ESPN pulled up. But the playing time from last game where it was Brissett to start. Brissett will probably play a little bit longer than he did. But then, like, Bailey Zappi pretty much played the amount that Drake May is going to play tonight. And then it was kind of split between the two. But I think Milton had the reps that Zappi's going to get tonight. I think they're very intentional about that. Yeah, so let's go ahead and talk about some DFS here as well. So favorite targets. So besides defense and Jake Elliott, and I want to emphasize that, like, it probably is a defensive and kicker slate tonight. I don't really want to play that many quarterbacks. I'm not doing that too much. Let's see here. I mean, I'm 55. I know you guys can't see this on the stream. I'm 55% on Eagles, Patriots, and Jake Elliott, which is I don't exactly love that. But then I'm definitely on Kevin Harris, Terrell Jennings as the running backs for the Patriots. A little bit of Hasty, not too much, probably 5%. For the Eagles, I am kind of splitting the RB reps there. I'm probably over the field on Milton, but I'm not going crazy with it. And then receiver-wise, definitely Javon Baker is probably my most owned skilled player, just because it makes logical sense for him to continue to get work. And then from there, it is more of a toss-up. Like, I still have some Keyshawn. You got the Jalen Reagor revenge game, if you will. Still have some pieces of him. I'm kind of fine with that. Not going crazy with that, though. And then for the Eagles, I feel like it's a little bit more simple. Now, Johnny Wilson was someone that I was on a decent amount last game or last slate for the Eagles. Now, we knew that there's going to be a little bit of rain, and so we didn't exactly want to go crazy with the Eagles. So I was able to get off of Wilson a little bit, which was kind of the right choice. He did end up playing about 50% of the snaps, and so he's someone I still like. I mentioned watching the film, John Ross. He got a lot of work. I don't want to say John Ross looked bad, but he didn't look like John Ross. Like, if you put a completely different number on him, you're not, like, I don't know. You wouldn't, it wouldn't, I don't, he just didn't look fast, is the best way to put it. Smith, they like, but I think Covey is kind of the easy play. I wouldn't be surprised to see Nada get an end zone target. The issue is that there's just too many players here. Like, Jacob Harris is someone that I have like 5% of because he has produced in the preseason, and they did like Watkins a little bit. So I'm definitely spreading out the production tonight, but Wilson, Covey, and then Baker are like my 3 highest owned receivers. Yep. So let's see here. Yeah. The thing is, if you're doing a stack like this, you obviously need to be playing one of their pass catchers, right? Especially those two who don't really. I mean, Drake May can scramble. I mean, they both can scramble. I just don't expect it. So, like, you going Wilson and Baker? You could. I mean, I don't mind that. So sure. I would say, or is this a flex slip? I'm assuming. I mean, we could just run out the middles here that we have. So Mackey under, Milton over. And I still don't mind Jennings for over his rush yards. I still think that's a decent line that we are getting. And I sure hope Jake Elliott gets over 1.5 field goals. I'm not touching that on PrizePicks tonight, just because I am getting my exposure elsewhere to him, DFS wise. Yeah, I mean, Hasty looked good. Obviously, the other running back being there now does throw a little bit of a wrench into that. It's honestly just, it's tough to say. It's a tough slate. And I don't think we're getting any. Are we getting lines for him? I thought we were for an underdog a little bit. And this is always a good kind of way to potentially look about a slate. So he's getting 25.5 for rush and reception yards. You compare that to Kevin Harris. He's a little bit better on paper. And I'm not saying this is the end all be all, but I think that's a good like call out as to how we could go about attacking it. Interesting. Wonder why Kenny Pickett's line just adjusted there. So I do need to just do a refresh on the news here real quick. If you guys have any more questions, get those in. I'm just going to scroll through some of the news real quick as well. I'm following about 70 beat reporters, by the way. So there's that. There's lots of news. Obviously, a lot of it breaks right before lineup lock. All right, so I am seeing some sites or some beat reporters saying May 1.5 quarters, others saying 2. I think the expectation is he's going to play the second quarter, the full quarter there, and then he's going to play a series or 2 into the third, however long that is, kind of, oh well, right? And again, if it's a good first drive in the third quarter, probably not going to be playing that much after that. So we're good there. I want to get some Eagles news here. That's kind of what I'm really wanting. Guys, and just for what's worth, a quick plug for the Sunday slate. And is it Saturday as well? I forget. Anyways, we have one of the 2 days. I forget what it is right now, but lots of news. They were going to have some big edges there. Lots of players already out. And honestly, when it's a bigger slate like that, it's just a bigger edge. Like people can get lucky on a 1-game slate like this. Okay, so we did get confirmation that most of the Eagle starters, I should say, are not suited up or not going through the formal warm-ups is what I'm seeing from a beat reporter. So we're not expecting them to play. And so that does kind of bring up a point that I want to talk about as well. Like for DFS, New England Patriots defense, I want a little bit more of, just simply due to the fact that their starters are going to be going against backups for a full quarter. And that's kind of a scaled effect as well. You know, you got then second stringers maybe going against third stringers a little bit more so. And so that's kind of the approach I'm taking, but definitely having a little bit more of the Patriots. Rain came down about an hour ago. It should be good to go now, though. Based off of some pictures and stuff that I'm seeing. But from a video ago, there was rain again. So again, that kind of echoes to the point where we probably do want to be still probably targeting a little bit more of the defenses. If it doesn't work out like the Hall of Fame game, I'm kind of okay with that. I have some direct builds on the 9-to-5 lineup builder intentionally kind of fading defenses. And there's not much of that, but I did intentionally do that. And that's I should probably show you guys that real quick. Let's see. So basically, on the lineup builder, you can do these player groups. And so some of the ones that I did was like, you'll see here, when a lineup included Tanner Mackey in there at all, I wanted. Oh, I need to change this. This is wrong, actually. Oh no. Here we go. This is supposed to be captain. But either way, both ways it works. So I'm gonna have to adjust that. Whoops. But really, this is the way I like it the most. This is where I have my most exposure. This is just an example where when a lineup includes Mackey in the flex, I want, or I'm going to have one of Covey, Wilson, John Ross, or even Jacob Harris as my captain. And I'm not going crazy with that. And then another rule that I have with that is I also have kind of that same rule when the lineup includes one of those guys as a captain. I don't want that defense. Now, I will say, when you start telling the lineup optimizer too much stuff, it's just less likely to spit out what you want, or you're giving it too much to work off of. Like even this, I'm limiting a little bit too much. I'll show you guys here, exposure wise, and that can be a little bit of a constraint on it, just as an FY. So like if I were to do, let's just say like 20% max exposure on these, like it wouldn't work, if that makes sense, because you're just capping it too much. It doesn't have enough information to go off, if that makes sense. Let's see here. All right, so yeah, so I did middle with Milton already. I got my exposure on that one already. So again, you're betting more on PrizePicks for him, and then you can bet under on Tanner Mackey. There is a soccer discounted square out there, as well as the MMA square as well, that you guys could run out with that. So that's a decent one that you can use. And then we just got a question: 3 favorite PrizePicks plays. Let's just pull that up here. Yeah, you can see it fine here. There we go. So this is kind of what I'm looking at. And again, kind of a loose term, I guess, when you say favorite like that, because today we are more or less just trying to take advantage of the middles that we have. Again, with Milton and Tanner Mackey, there's a decent prop line difference. If you didn't like Mackey, I think he has a good chance to have a good game. Maybe you can go Lou Nichols then as well. Lou Nichols is someone that should get a decent amount of work in this game. Receiving wise, I don't think we're really getting edges there. But again, reiterating, pick 6 is where we are getting the bigger, better edge today. All right, so let's see here. Why is that? What happened? Did I miss some people being out? 3 safest plays for cash. And we got a question about 2 favorite receivers. And I think that somewhat goes together. So for DFS purposes, right? I think that we are going to get a decent amount of work for Kevin Harris and for Terrell Jennings, just maybe not as much. I don't think there's a safe. I don't think we should be using the word safe tonight, but I do think I would consider Javon Baker to be probably the safest play, and he is my favorite receiver play on the slate. Just again, played a lot of reps in the first game. And guys, I don't want to say like just because he played a lot of reps in the first game, that's going to mean that he's going to play a lot of reps again in this game. We just got to use logic to it. A lot of times, like I think last year with Puka Nacua and even Tank Dell are good examples of that. They both played a lot in preseason week 1, and they both played extremely well. So then they kind of got shut down for the preseason. Whereas some other rookies, I don't have any examples off the top of my head, but they didn't play well, so they continue to play a decent amount. And so I do expect that to happen with Javon Baker, especially with the Patriots, where in a weird way, they kind of are deep. Like, they got Thornton there, who they seem to like. He seems to be having a good camp again. Obviously, Douglas is there. Polka's there. KJ Osborne's there. KJ Osborne probably going to be the outside receiver. And so it makes sense to get Baker reps still, especially because he didn't have a good game. So he is probably the safest play in my eyes. That's a non-special teams defense player, and he is my favorite receiver play. Again, I do like the idea. I don't know. I do like the idea of running out 2 running backs together. But I also like Johnny Wilson as well. Again, there isn't a safe play. I just want to make that clear tonight. It's definitely more of a GPP type night. All right, so I need some more clear questions here. So is this like a question for props here, or underdog, or pick six, or prize picks? I need some more confirmation on that. All right, so let's jump into some pick six here. There we go. And actually, let's just show the pick six board again here. All right, so yeah, for pick six, I do want to kind of call out that I do think we have some stacking opportunities here in this game. So, like Joe Milton, we already know we are betting the under there. And again, this is to point out the middle that we have again. So on pick six, 72.5, we're betting the under there. That's just too good of a line to pass up on. When we can also bet the over on PrizePicks, 57.8. Like, that is just too good. We had a decent amount of middles hit last week, which is actually crazy with how accurate the preseason props are for the lines are. Like, I was a little bit shocked by that. And then, so here's like Drake May, if you guys wanted to stack his over, we can see that that's clearly the bet we want to be making on pick six. Then we could also do Keyshawn Boutte for his over at 19.5, Javon Baker over 19.5. And again, I mentioned that Jalen Polk line popping up a little bit more. I was a little bit surprised by that. So you could bet his over as well. I don't know if I exactly need to do that, but you could. And then we also still have a bunch of lines for John Ross, Brennan Kobe, Johnny Wilson, where they're all off as well. And so, kind of looking at these lines that we have, we're getting some decent edges there, especially in the receiving yards. And so it's a weird way where you could, again, kind of run out some middles. I did a decent amount of stacks. So, like, for example purposes, something like this, right? You could do, obviously, if you're doing 4 tonight, they're letting us do a 5 or 6 slip bet on pick 6. Might as well just do a 5 slip bet just so that you can get the flex payout if possible. So I don't know which one I like. I mean, obviously we'd go Drake May in this example. Something like that. Kicker news. Good question. Let's see. That's a great question. That is important, because if we got news that potentially the Patriots, one of the Patriots kickers were sitting, that would be huge. If anyone has that, honestly, put that in the comment section. We're going to look at this. Ooh, Drake May with who is Drake May with the warm up to Javon Baker. Like to see that. Who is number, I can't even see, 32? I think that's Jennings. I don't know. I'm just going to look at reps right now, a video that I just saw. But nice to see Drake May warming up to Javon Baker. So I mentioned, like, on Twitter, on X, whatever you want to call it, I have this beat reporters list that I have. I almost should just break it down into each team. Probably should have done that. That'd be much easier. But at the same time, the beat reporters that are at the game are tweeting about it right now. So whatever. I'm not seeing any updates on the kickers. Anyone else seeing any updates on the kickers? I am not. And that is important news for Showdown. It really is kind of big. Because obviously if one of them sits, then we're just more likely to get 4 or 3 points out of them. The only thing I'm seeing is that Joey Sly was kicking and that their other kicker was not. I don't know if that means one's playing or one's not playing. I don't want to say that it is. This is from Alex Barth. And that's the only tweet that we have between the kickers. So we got about 10 minutes left until lineup block. I don't hate the idea of maybe having some of Joey Sly. That's the only sort of tweet I have with the kickers that have any indication of playing time, which sucks. I wish we had more than that. That really does suck. I might make like 2 hand builds or update 2 builds by hand right after this live stream if I end it in time. Preferably under. That's awesome. Oh, okay. So PrizePicks just bumped up Joe Milton, just as an FYI, a little bit. So hopefully you guys got those middles in. I'm assuming that's probably why they did it. If we're looking at unders here, what I would suggest is, again, just using pick 6 as maybe a baseline where we could potentially hedge. We got Johnny Wilson, where we're seeing that's the biggest prop line difference that we're getting between the 2 sites. So again, Johnny Wilson is at 19.5 on pick 6. So just naturally, the line that we're getting on PrizePicks 21 or 25.5, that seems to be, I wouldn't say it's too high because we have seen pick 6 where twice already this preseason, I've had it where no bets missed. That's not completely true, guys, because there was one slate where I did do the opposite of what was going to be the most popular bet on the night, just as a little bit of hedge, because if you guys are familiar with pick 6, the payouts adjust based off of how many people cash and whatnot. So that was just kind of maybe an advanced game theory thought where the guy that was going to be like 40% owned, if he doesn't get there, I just did the opposite of that, knowing that we were getting edges elsewhere. And like you could do that tonight with Drake May or Joe Milton if you wanted to, but I don't see the need to do that tonight. Anyways, we have seen pick 6 be wrong the most. Okay. But anyways, you would want to bet Johnny Wilson under, maybe Keyshawn Boutte under. He's someone that had a good game last game. Wouldn't be surprising to see him maybe have a bad game. John Ross as well. Not someone that has really been excelling in camp. Like if I had to do something, it'd be these 3. Again, I do expect Javon Baker to have a good game. I do expect Ben Covey to at least get some reps, some like design plays. And so I don't really want to go too crazy against that, if that makes sense. If he goes, yeah, that's actually a great question. It's a good game theory question as well. I don't think it'd be Will Shipley because I think he'll be out of the game by then. Probably Lou Nichols, but at the same time, it is preseason, so you might just want to get a look at a player like Milton. You know, like it goes both ways. But to answer your question, I think it'd be Nichols. But that's really not how they did their reps. I mean, they really were like kind of drive by drive. I know Shipley came in and got a touchdown. I believe it was with Gainwell, but the backup running backs all kind of had their kind of series, if you will. Favorite Eagles running back. Again, I don't look at ownerships or anything like that for preseason. I don't think it's really too worthwhile. But I think Milton is going to be the lowest of them, lowest owned. And so maybe him. But if I had to choose just purely who I think is the best, I mean, it is a toss-up. I still think it'd be Torian Davis-Price, and we don't have him on the slate. That was my answer last slate. That's kind of unfortunate. Will Shipley has the ability to catch the ball in the backfield, so I would just say him. But I still worry that we're going to see Gainwell and Shipley kind of limited reps-wise, and that's why I like Torian Davis-Price, who just can kind of beat the ball into the ground running it. So kind of a little bit unfortunate there. I want to see, again, I'm a little bit annoyed. The beat reporters have just not been as good this year as they typically are. And maybe it's just newer coaching staffs. And so maybe beat reporters don't have as big of a read on them. And it's kind of crazy, all this news that we're getting from beat reporters, like the Jordan Addison stuff that came out. Keenan Allen being like 260 or whatever that report was. That stuff's all going to go away in like a week when the beat reporters are no longer allowed there. So it's kind of funny. I will say I probably should have got a little bit more on Drake May. Right now, my exposure is that he's tied with Tanner Mackey and Kenny Pickett. All about like 8% in the flex. So that really tells you how much I'm on the quarterbacks. I think I have about like 7% of them in the captain just in case they throw a touchdown, but I don't exactly like that. And so again, I am very much trying to game my way to a victory tonight, which might sound weird to some people because obviously, like if you follow NFL DFS videos, that's basically how everyone presents their coverage, right? Oh, who can we be on? That's a 1% play, they'll win you money. It's not really how I do it. I like to just focus on who are the top plays, who's going to present the most profit for the most amount of people that take my advice. That's just not the slate that we have today, which is super annoying. It does make sense to get a little bit unique, but unique in a sense where you're not being dumb with it. Like you got to be a little bit smart with it. Man, I'm super annoyed about the kicking news. I was really hoping we would get it, but if you want to take a risk with it, Joey Sly, maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't go too crazy with that. Super annoying. All right, so we got about 4 minutes left here. Let's see. Are we getting any more questions here? So Javon Baker. I like Javon Baker the most. I think he makes the most sense. He makes sense to get reps again. And so I like him the most. Again, pick 6, you can bet is over DFS wise. I think he's a good captain play. I think he's like my favorite skilled player tonight. If it doesn't work out, if he plays 58% of the reps again and the quarterback's a little bit off on a couple of his throws to him, the production was there, it just didn't come through, I'm kind of okay stomaching that. Like if I'm correct about the playing time in the situation, kind of okay with it. Any thoughts on Shipley? Yeah, I think Shipley's fine. I'm happy to play Shipley. Got lucky with a touchdown with him last week, right? I'm pretty sure I watched so much film. I'm pretty sure he scored a touchdown. I know Kevin Harris scored a touchdown. That didn't feel as lucky. That felt kind of on plan. But yeah. Yes, please. That sounds great. Nice Butterburger would be perfect. That works. What picks looking like? So guys, anytime you say a picks question, please let me know the site that you're referring to, or else I'm just going to kind of keep saying the same stuff. So on pick 6, we got a lot of opportunities with some big prop line differences. So real quick, Joe Milton under his passing yards. We saw PrizePicks bump his passing yards up to the point where we don't need to make that bet, where we're kind of trying to do the middle. Drake May over on pick 6. I think that should be a great bet. Again, should play a quarter and a half to a half of football. If he can't get over 75.5 passing yards, that is just terrible. And then I think we have some stacking opportunities then with the pass catchers here. So no problem. I appreciate you guys all being in here as well. I think we had a peak of 250 viewers. Do appreciate that. I will be coming out with the next video for the next slate, maybe tonight or tomorrow. Because again, we have a lot of information already. If you guys can, on that next video that I post, just get in there and like it. Basically, if a video gets 100 likes, it just helps out the coverage. It gets pushed to a lot more people. And behind the scenes a little bit, the preseason coverage is so little. There's not that many people doing it, or like the high level that I think I do it. And shout out to Occupy Fantasy. I do NBA DFS for them as well. Brian does a lot of great stuff there. I feel like he does good high level preseason NFL DFS coverage. And that's not me saying that other people that are doing it are not giving high level content as well. But it's just a nice spot. And so if we can just keep pushing it to more people, I know that's not exactly the case for NFL DFS. We don't exactly want to do that, but it does help out the channel and it does help me out. So I do appreciate that. All right, guys. So yeah, we're up against it here. Good luck. 30 seconds left. So get those last minute lineup changes in. I'm going to quickly do a little bit of changes on my end. I got like 10 seconds here. So good luck tonight, guys. I appreciate you being here. Good luck. And as always, let's keep cashing.